Hey y'all, how about an early summer update from my Pacific Northwest garden? So those of you that follow my channel know I've been having some health issues and it's kept me from getting out in the garden. I haven't been out here and done any work for a couple of weeks at least. To be honest, it's probably more like 3 weeks. So come along, we're going to see what we discover and see what we can do to fix up anything that needs fixing. So at first glance, it's not too overwhelming, although I do see that the weeds have certainly grown well. Let's see what else is growing. This bed is doing poorly. It had peas in it, which I took out when they were done. And I planted some little tomato seedlings, which didn't survive. So I've got some summer squash seeds to put in the ground. I think they're 50 days to harvest, so I've still got plenty of time before my last frost date, which is not until October. So we'll get those going. The sunflower reseeded itself, and if I swing around, you'll see that it's starting to bloom. This is one of my favorite varieties. It's called Moulin Rouge. And the bed of red Norland potatoes has done extremely well. The tops are slowly dying off. One thing I really like about this bed, last year it was devastated by cucumber beetles. This is the bed that I applied beneficial nematodes to, and I had no cucumber beetles and suffered very little pest damage. Had a little bit early on, before I applied it, and these were volunteers from last year, and you can see some of the leaves got eaten a little bit, but the rest of the bed did really well. The peppers that I overwintered are doing great, and they've already started setting some fruit. These are in shadow, so I don't know how well you can see them, but pretty good sized fruit. These are King of the North bell peppers. See if I can get one so you can actually see what it looks like. These are green. They'll eventually turn red. This one, I don't know what's going on with it. One of the things I experimented with was I planted some marigold seeds that were supposed to be dwarf marigolds. And you can tell these are definitely not dwarf. They're a good 3 or 4 feet tall. So those are coming out, and I'll plant some dwarf marigolds that I got at the local nursery. These just make me laugh because they literally are taking over the whole bed. Give you a peek at the overwintered paprika. Setting fruit already. Got one ripe down there. Not super big yet, but they will get there. And you can tell this plant has got some flowers on it. If I can focus on them. Got some flowers coming on. So we'll get some fruit set there. These are lady bell peppers. I've got flowers, maybe a little fruit back there. I've never grown this variety before, so I'm anxious to see how it does. The cantaloupe are off to a great start, slowly growing up their trellis. I always have good luck with cantaloupe. This is a variety called Honey Rock, so it's a smaller cantaloupe, but so sweet. And then these were a determinate tomato, which I haven't pruned, obviously. These were called Umpqua Beauty, and they're droopy. They're a droopy tomato. I spy with my own little eye a Cherokee purple tomato getting started. That's the first full-size tomato I've seen. I've picked a few sun golds, but it's nice to see these taken off. One of the tasks I've really fallen behind on is trellising the tomatoes and pruning them. And you can tell that the lower stems are touching the ground, and this bed needs to be cleaned up and mulched. So I have a friend coming over this next week to help me with that, since I'm just not able to do it very well. So we'll get that taken care of this week. I did notice this tomato, these are Amish paste, and I've got some fruit. This was a surprise onion that didn't get pulled last year, so it sent up a flower stalk. The pollinators love this thing, so I left it in. It's in the garlic bed, and it is definitely time to pull the garlic. So that'll be coming up here in the next week. This tomato is labeled black crim, but when I look at the tomato cluster, I think it's definitely a sun gold that I got mixed up on. So, need to replace that tag and label it correctly, although nobody would mistake those for black crim. The strawberry bed has produced really well this year. This was its second year, and I've been trying to keep the runners cut and trimmed, but I need to get out here and do it again. You can see it's setting a lot of runners. I don't want it to set runners and not fruit, so we need to trim those back. The celery is doing really well, getting some decent sized stalks on it. I don't usually eat that much celery, but I grow quite a bit so I can dry it and grind it for celery powder. These are the mortgage lifter tomatoes. Usually I trim them back to one main stem. You can tell there's multiple stems on them. I just wasn't able to get out here and do it in time to get it back to one main stem, and I didn't want to hack the plant back too much. So we're going with multiple stems and just trying to keep the leaves off the soil. I've got onions in this bed. These are Patterson onions, which are great storage onions, and they're bulbing up really nicely. And in the back of them, I've got some tomatoes, which again need trimming, but I am getting some good blossoms on them, so I'm hopeful that I'll actually get tomatoes off them. The asparagus bed, we harvested a lot of asparagus this year. This is a 4-year-old bed, and we finally let it go to fern. And you can tell the pollinators just love the asparagus flowers. I don't know if you can see them, but they are just all over the place. Nice thing is, I wasn't plagued by asparagus beetles this year because of spraying these beds with beneficial nematodes. So I really have to give a thumbs up to the beneficial nematodes. Right before I started having health issues, I was able to get the sweet potatoes in the ground, and they're doing well. I say in the ground, they're actually in a raised bed. They're doing well. I did not get irrigation set up to this bed, so that still needs to be done. But I can hand water it easily enough. And they're starting to spread. These are a vining variety called Covington, which I've never grown before. I usually grow Vardaman or Beauregard, so I'm anxious to see how these do in our climate. So that's a quick stroll through the Hippie Chick Homestead garden. Sorry it's been so long. Hope you enjoyed it. Wish you were out here helping me do some of the work, because I could certainly use a hand, but I'm glad you stopped by anyway. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Take care, y'all.